You know, I'm out there every single day. I'm going through factories. I'm meeting hardworking people. Their number one issue is affordability. Affordability, being able to buy a home, affordability with the high gas prices, affordability with the groceries. That's what I'm concerned about.
Well, what about the polling that shows that this has hurt your popularity in a month? Personally, it's hurt. 59% of people think that your government is about helping its friends and supporters, and only 26% think it's about helping the greater good of Ontario. Aren't you worried about that?
Well, I'm not worried about that, and I'll tell you the reason why. We were elected on a mandate on a few issues. Number one, making sure we have the economy going, which we have one of the strongest economies in North America, creating jobs. We're elected on building infrastructure including the highways 413, Bradford Bypass, widening Highway 3 and Highway 7 in Kitchener, building hospitals, putting $50 billion, 50 sites around the province, building schools. We have $500 million being spent every single year on building schools. There's over 100 active schools being built right now. Long-term care as well. We're building tens of thousands of homes for long-term care people. At the end of the day, it's results. We can talk and talk and talk, like every government I've ever seen talk about it, but we have a strong plan. And we have a strong plan for when I go to these factories and I'm talking to the people on the line that are coming up to me, telling me they can't afford rent, they can't afford a mortgage because the Bank of Canada continues to raise interest rates, and it's making it unaffordable. It's very simple, supply and demand.
Premier, you insist that nothing wrong happened with the Greenbelt deals. If nothing wrong happened, why did Ryan Amato resign?
Well, let me speak about the process. I've come out here a couple times now. We're correcting the process. We're taking the 14 recommendations from the Auditor General and we're correcting it. I'm first to admit the process could have been better. But, you know, we need a wartime effort right now on all fronts. We all have to be working together. And I have I have to tell the builders out there, I've talked to a lot of mayors. I talked to a lot of them at AMO. And, you know, I'm drawing a line in the sand. If you don't start building, you know, be it the Greenbelt, or I'll be pulling that out as sure as I'm standing here, or if you have permits within municipalities, I'm talking to the mayor saying, so many builders have permits and they aren't building. That's unacceptable.
Premier, this is your signature policy, building housing and opening up the Greenbelt. How is it that you're saying a senior staffer, unbeknownst to you, essentially orchestrated the whole thing? How is that supposed to be moving?
Yeah, well, let me tell you very simply, and it goes for any premier. You know, you get stuff put in front of you before cabinet, which I did. My exact words, cross the T's, dot the I's, everything's fine. I can't micromanage at one of the largest, I call it a corporation, one of the largest corporations in North America of $204 billion of revenue, hundreds of thousands of employees, a GDP over $1 trillion, and micromanage every single person. I don't believe in micromanaging. I believe in delegating work through our ministers and their teams.
Did you ever speak to Ryan Amato or direct him to remove those specific properties?
I did not. 100%, I did not direct them. I didn't even know who was coming forward. The day of cabinet, they brought it forward, and we just moved forward with it.
Premier, the chief of staff takes...
I'm sorry.
Are you concerned about the RCMP investigation?
Well, you know, if they decide to investigate, they haven't decided yet, but if they do, I take it very serious, extremely serious. And I'll have zero tolerance if there's any nonsense going on.
There was no wrongdoing. Why not call in a public inquiry then?
Again, I'm not going to answer hypothetical questions, but we're going to move forward with the 14 recommendations from the Auditor General. It's the process that could have been better. We're correcting the process, but our number one goal is to build homes. We have thousands, tens of thousands of people. I have people in my own riding, as you've heard, asylum seekers, new refugees coming here are sleeping in churches' basements, sleeping in an old TD bank. That's unacceptable. We need to continue to build homes. Well, actually, I'm going to totally disagree because that's not accurate. Any of these lands are right beside serviceable lands. So on one side of the street, there's a community. On the other side of the street, there's an empty field. But we have to continue. But we're talking about, let's put this into perspective. You're stuck on the Greenbelt. I get it. Folks, it's 1/3 of 1% that you refuse to keep mentioning. It's 1/3 of 1%, and we put in 1/4 to replace it. It was a land swap. But in saying that, that's a small piece of the puzzle. That's 150,000 people that are going to have roofs over their heads. We need 1.5 million, and that's the base. And I didn't plan on the federal government bringing in 500,000 people. That's more than Florida and Texas. The fastest growing regions in North America are Florida and Texas. And we're way above them, way above them on growth. That's over 5 million people in the next 10 years. That's almost the size of 2 cities of Toronto being plopped down here. We need the federal government to support us. We need the federal government to come up with a national housing plan, not just for Ontario, but right across this country.
You know as well as anyone that the chief of staff takes direction from the minister. What responsibility does the housing minister hold, and why is he not here next to you today?
Well, the housing minister's out there, and I have full confidence in Steve Clark. He's out there trying to build homes. He's out there trying to cut red tape. You know, we have given the tools to the municipalities to speed up the process, to make sure that they get homes built. But I'm not pointing the fingers at municipalities. They're doing a great job. As I mentioned at AMO, some are at 116%, some are at 109%. We're there to help them. My frustration is when I talk to the mayors and I talk to the chairs of the regions that some of these builders, they're land banking the stuff, and that's unacceptable.
Why did Ryan Amato resign, sir?
You know something? We accepted his resignation, and it went through our chief of staff. He accepted it. You're going to have to ask Ryan Amato.
Taxpayers who are saying that your billionaire friends are making profits off of this. What do you say to
You know, I don't give, let me tell you something, my friend, I don't give 2 hoots about the builders. Are they part of a solution along with many other people? Yes. My full intention is to make sure that we have homes, attainable homes, affordable homes, regular homes, rental units. And I think over the last couple of years, 21, 22, we've had more rentals and more housing starts since 30 years. So that's my intention. When I look at these people in the eye and I go through these factories, very few elected officials go out there and meet the people like I have, and you're looking at them eye to eye, and I've done it over the last 5 years, but over even the last few weeks. Their number one issue is I need a home. I need to find rent. That's not an astronomical amount. That's my goal.
Can you speak to the OPP about their investigation?
Absolutely not. Absolutely not. 100% not. That's up to the OPP and to refer it over the RCMP, but that's totally separate. I don't get involved.
Why are they doing that? Did they explain to you or your office?
No, I do not have contact with them. You know, there's no secret. Around the province, we always support law enforcement, we support our firefighters, and we support our paramedics, first responders. But no, that's up to them.
Has anyone, who's been interviewed by the OPP so far in your government? Who's been interviewed in your government by the OPP so far?
You'd have to, I wouldn't have a clue. You'd have to ask the OPP.
Premier, you say you want housing built
Yep.
fast,
Yes.
quickly, right? There's urgency to it, but the AG's report found that a lot of the land that was chosen to be taken out isn't ready for development. The chief planners in York, Durham, and Hamilton said it could take years to make it ready. So if all of the land in the Greenbelt, the 600 applications that have been made since 2005, why those 15 pieces chosen when they didn't meet the criteria?
Well,
the criteria were changed throughout this
okay.
process, and they're not ready for development.
Well, again, I'm going to respectfully disagree. The water's there, the electricity's there. On one side of the street, there's homes. The other side, there isn't. But even further, these same municipalities have requested, well before my time, requested the federal government, the provincial government of the day to take them out of the Greenbelt. Again, folks, when I talk to people and I say 1/3 of 1%, it's like a speck on a map. They say, really? And they're making that big of a deal? Well, you know something? I'm going to use every tool in the toolbox to make sure that we build homes for those people that I'm talking to day in and day out. No matter if they're new Canadians, if they're a worker on the line, if they, want to buy a home, we're going to make sure. It's very simple, supply and demand.
Your promise to the voters not to touch the Greenbelt, or were you
Well,
going to get elected?
Well, okay, so fair enough. That was 5 years ago. If you think I have a crystal ball and I could read 5 years down the road that we're going to be the fastest growing jurisdiction in North America, I didn't. Did I know the federal government last year even, did I know the federal government was going to bring 504,000 people into our province? I didn't know that. I didn't know they were bringing 1.1 million people, and the 600,000 other people are spread across the country. Guess where at least half of them are going to be? They're going to be here in Ontario. And the reason they're going to be here in Ontario, because we're the economic engine. We have the quality of life. No, again, that was 5 years ago. And I remember that comment. I remember that comment. But again, up to 4, 5, 6 months ago, I didn't know the federal government. If they would have called me up and said, oh, by the way, we're dropping 504,000 people, get ready, I don't think that was ample notice. But now we're in a situation that we need the federal government and the municipalities, which are doing a great job, and the provincial government to collaborate. Like I said, we need a wartime effort. The wartime effort, we need to get these homes built. And if not, we're going to have people sleeping in the streets. We're going to have people in tents. We're going to have people in church basements. That's my whole mission here. My whole mission is to give homes to people that they can put a roof over their head. I'm sorry. Well, I take the word of the minister. He has a massive portfolio. One of the toughest portfolios, as we talk right now, is to build homes. We had a mandate to continue driving the economy, to build infrastructure and build homes. And that's what we're doing.
There's an MZO for a property in Caledon that appears to have been drafted by the property owners, aka the developers. Why do you give developers rather than bureaucrats more power in drafting proposals for things like MZOs? Are you giving them too much power?
No, something, I'm going to repeat this. I don't give two hoots about developers. I care about the people. I care about the hardworking people that can't afford to pay rent, that can't afford to buy a home. That's who I care about. Are builders part of the whole program? Sure, they're part of the whole program. But in saying that, I'm sending a warning shot right now. If you're holding on to land and you have permits, you better start building. It's very simple. And if you aren't progressing in the Greenbelt, and we've set pretty strict targets, if we don't see things moving by the end of this year and shovels in the ground by 2025, within seconds, I'll put it back into the Greenbelt. But we can't have builders in line on homes all around the province, getting a permit, taking allocation of the sewers and so on and so forth, and then holding on to it, not building. Well, there's other builders that are in line saying, I'm going to build tomorrow. They're going to take a priority.
Builders who are supposed to be your friends.
Well, again, you're saying they're my friends. I have more friends, regular common folk, than builders. Again, you want to imply that? It's just not accurate. It's just not accurate. I'm sorry.
Premier, can we go back to June?
People who collected the land were forced to sign confidentiality agreements, and they weren't allowed to even talk to the municipalities. Why was that?
Well, it's funny that the municipalities were the ones lobbying to take it out of the Greenbelt, even before.
Why were they sworn to secrecy?
Yeah, but even before I was in office, they put proposals to the provincial government to be able to build homes there, and I understand that. Again, there's a majority of those lands were proposed by the municipalities.
Why was the team forced to sign confidentiality agreements? Why couldn't they gather input from anyone?
I didn't get into the weeds on that side, but I can find out the question for you. But folks, I can tell you, is my job is to build homes in this province. I'm going to continue building homes. We're going to continue having a strong economy. I welcome the 500,000 people that arrived here in Ontario because we need them. We need skilled workers. We need people. There's still over 300 and some odd thousand jobs available. We have a strong economy. We're fixing the healthcare system. We're fixing education to get back to the basics. And this year, going into school, the kids have to have confidence We've hired 8,000 educators since 2018. The Minister of Education's done a great job. We're hiring another 2,000 educators this year alone. We want to get back to the basics of reading and writing and math. Those are the basics until they'll be ready for the jobs of the future.
Are you confident that nothing criminal? Are you confident that nothing criminal has taken place in your government regarding the Greenbelt deals?
Well, I'm confident. You know, I'm confident. I won't tolerate that. And I think you've known me long enough, Colin. I'll have zero tolerance for that. And then the authorities will deal with it.
Can you explain?
This is the last question.
Explain to people at home who
Yeah.
think that your government is corrupt. Explain to them why you don't see this as corruption.
Well, I'm trying to build homes. That's my intention. It's none of that. I'm trying to help.
Part of the plan is building homes.
Well, you know, something that's pretty nasty you saying that, but at the end of the day, I have one reason I ran for premier, is to represent the people, to represent the little guy, the little gal. That's what our family, that's what our family's always done. I've always been out there.
How is it that just a handful of developers benefited from it?
Okay.
How is it that out of all of the land of the Greenbelt, just a handful of people who have donated to you personally managed to benefit from this, and you say you have nothing to know about it? A lot of people would look at that and say, that doesn't make sense. Something doesn't look right.
Well, thank you, Colin, for that. Just to be frank, and you know this, Colin, these builders donate to all the parties. They donate to the Green, the NDP, they donate to the Liberals, the PCs, but that's been going on for years. But I don't care about a $1,500 donation. I care about the people that I meet every single day, that I travel around this province and talk to, that people are struggling right now. We were the ones who put money back into people's pockets. You know, no matter if it's childcare, for instance, through the Minister of Education, there's 86,000 more spaces right now. That's saving families $8,000 to $12,000 per child. We took, 10 cents off the gas, and we still have it off. Just imagine, folks, if we added the additional 10 cents per liter, we eliminated the sticker tax. We got rid of the 412 and the 418 tolls. We're about saving money for the people of Ontario, and that's what we've done. So, thank you.
Thanks, everyone.
Thank you, everyone.